have a lot to do. So the first item on the agenda usually is the minutes, and I didn't get them done. So they're gonna have to wait till the next meeting. The next item on the agenda, I don't know, do you guys wanna go with the questions for, or do we wanna go right to PAFs? Because I know that
Do we want to just let Bobby answer questions so he can go?
our videographer is pointing to the orange thing that says that I have to say, this is an open meeting, an open session, public meeting, and they are subject to being videotaped and recorded. Your image and voice may be recorded. Per the open meeting law, Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20E. Thank you, Roger. So do we want to go through the PAFs? Because you guys have to go to FinCom, right? So that's at 7:30, so.
I haven't got much to do, so if you got something,
Okay, let's do the PAS.
Yeah, because they gotta leave.
Okay, so Margaret, you had notified us of a bunch of PAFs.
Yes.
And,
You've got
Doing something, right?
1, 2 for part-time patrol officers. You've got one here for fire and EMS, someone who attained their EMT certification, it looks like.
yep,
And you've got someone who's going to be doing some winter plowing, and someone who has given a notice of retirement.
great, oh my God.
who's the lucky one?
Who's the lucky one?
So the first one is for a C. Ladou, Ladou, and this is for the part-time police officer, and it's a new hire. So that's the first one. The second one is for a Neil LaFave from Sterling, and that's a part-time police officer as well. The third one is for an, whoa,
Go ahead.
I know it's tiny.
yeah, that's cute.
That's one way to put it.
Andrew Maurice, which is a new hire, fire EMS, EMTB, and so it's a salary change due to getting his EMT,
Okay,
What's
so
EMTB?
so he's not a new hire.
Basic.
basic,
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
right. So this one is a salary change.
Yep.
And then the next one is for Michael Wheeler to come on board as a plow driver, seasonal plow driver. And this would be the same thing as, this would not be overtime due to his other job.
No, it's not. It's a
Okay.
completely separate department
Okay.
and separate duties.
Okay, great.
And it's also, this is a Class D position, so this is the regular pickup. This is not going to be a CDL
Yep,
driver position.
okay. The next one is for Rose Pierce, who's retiring.
Rose Pierce is retiring.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's sad.
I mean, it's good for her,
No,
good
I
for
know
her,
it
but
is.
it is sad. She's been a lovely person to work with.
I just want to look at that other one, Andrew Maurice.
Yeah. It's just
Okay.
Yeah.
Given the information in these PAFs, what are your
You
thoughts?
can't? Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept the PAFs and approve them that have been presented.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion on this?
No, just that the policeman already went through that new thing, right? That
No,
have to
they-
go.
Those are
They're
per
going to
diem.
have to.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to have to do the Bridge Academy training. Any part-timers will have to go through that, so,
Okay, but-
not
okay.
yet.
Not yet, okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor? Aye.
Right,
Okay, great.
sign away, Sue.
Yeah, thank you, Sue. And the first two, I just want, when you finish, will you hand them back this way, and that way I can
Mhm.
write
Yes.
those down? Okay. So the next thing was a vacancy. You had a...
The vacancy, yes.
The vacancy for a...
Full-time patrol officer. Now, this is the same job ad, just modified for the dates, and same job ad that we used for the last full-time patrol officer
Yep.
position. It does not include the hiring step. You know, that's going to be, it's assumed that the person is going to be hired at a step one on the
Yep.
full-time officer's rate.
Yep.
What's to be determined here is whether or not the candidate's going to become already academy trained.
Okay.
And if the person is not already academy trained, we would be executing an agreement with them regarding the town funding their academy training, just like we did with the last person.
So that's called the MPTC Certified Police Academy
Yeah.
Preferred. So if they don't come, we'll work with them for that.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, given this information, I'd like to make a motion that we approve to post this position of full-time patrol officer for the town of Berlin.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Thank you, Sue.
Yep.
12, 15, 21, okay. There's that. All right. Town administrator information. We had gone over the market data last week. I don't know if there's other information that you wanted to.
Well, I did the spreadsheet for you, so you
Yep.
have that in front of you.
Yep.
And I also did an outline, and I've given you a written outline for your review on priority staffing needs. So I've put blue check marks next to the ones that are included on the list. And while the fire department has also requested a full-time, they've requested a full-time position effective January 2023. I did not put the details of that on, but I noted it at the end of the list. The others, I did put some estimated costs and an outline of duties and the reasons that I consider these priority needs. I've included those on the list. So they include accounting clerk, additional 5 hours a week, the permanent conservation agent, which I know has been discussed at length previously, the
Yeah.
highway and facilities combined, full-time laborer, driver, facilities maintenance person, highway and facilities administrative assistant, part-time non-benefited, webmaster, which may or may not be a contract, but it's a 2,000. I'm recommending a $2,000 stipend that would average 2 hours a week for them to take care of our website. Board of Health clerk. The Board of Health has asked for additional hours, and I discuss in here the possibility of incorporating some of the duties they'd like additional hours for into the highway administrative assistance position, so they could work collaboratively. And then I propose in here a restructuring of the existing admin assistant position in my office, in the town administrator's office, to create a payroll and benefits coordinator part-time position in the treasurer collector's office, and restructure the current position to be a licensing and insurance coordinator with some ancillary duties, higher level duties. So I've outlined that, and I'd like your thoughts on that when you're able to review it. So those are really the biggies. We have needs in in a lot of in a lot of departments. So again, I've tried to encapsulate the needs into a priority list. And I also attached the memo that I had done for you and the board back in September,
Yep.
where we kind of outlined the position.
I think most of these we've talked about at our meetings, and I think every single one of them, we have voted to support the recommendation by the town administrator on these positions. Now, do you need additional recommendation from us in terms, or this week?
Oh,
or-
no, no.
Okay.
I'm only giving this to you now. I'd like you to review it if
Yeah.
that's possible, and then at
Okay.
your next meeting, we can
Okay.
talk more at length about it.
Okay.
I'm also gonna share this with the select board because I really want them to see it
Yeah.
and be able to kind of formulate questions on them as well.
Okay, all right.
Do we have some examples or from other communities for the admin for highways and facilities?
Yes, we have several, and I had
Because
hoped.
that's the one that we don't really have.
That's right. I had hoped to pull something together for you for the part-time, and I wasn't able to get to it, but June actually gave me several job descriptions from other communities, so
Great.
I'd be able to pull
Good.
those together. And I've talked with Fred, and he and I will go over the duties that he'd like to see the person perform. And as I mentioned in here, I don't see any reason the person could not sell transfer station stickers or check the Board of Health's
Right.
email and do other things so that they could have kind of a collaborative working.
Were most of those full-time or part-time? On that
Full-time.
June.
Yeah, I
Full-time.
think most of them are full-time.
We'd only be looking for 12 hours a week to start, and,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it would have to be more in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal opinion.
Well, as the Chapter 90 projects ramp up
Yeah.
and the state grants for road work and infrastructure ramp up, there's going
That
to be.
starts just about now, the first of the year.
Mhm.
And we
All
start
that
projects
stuff does,
too.
yeah.
The projects start, then you'll need somebody else too.
Or the bidding process starts January,
Oh, yeah.
as you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Okay, well, thank you for this information. Other information did you need a final approval on the market comps tonight, where we're still awaiting the information on the merit piece? Do we want to hold off and talk about that at length at a different meeting, or did you want our?
Oh, I'd like to, thank you. If this looks good, I do want to talk about the merit piece. If you would like to hold off on this and talk about all of them together at your next meeting, I could have something ready for you.
Okay.
Otherwise, I see this as, this is the entire list you discussed.
Right.
Right.
Wouldn't it be easier for FinCom that at least we said, this is the first half?
Sure.
Wouldn't it be
Oh,
easier
okay.
for them to,
We could include it in the budget request. Yes.
I'm just trying to keep, I know the budget process is underway, and it may be easier for them to say, these are the ones that are market rate, that we're so far below.
Mhm. Yep.
And the only thing we were holding off on was the, trying to get information on the transfer station positions.
And I got one of those job descriptions. I hope I forwarded it to you.
Yes,
Did
you
I?
did.
Okay, good.
Yes, you did.
So I got
Yes.
one of them. There were only 2 comp towns. I got the one from Harvard. I have not gotten the one from Air.
But like you
And-
said, both of them do other duties. It's a lot
Exactly.
more-
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
also highway.
They are.
So,
Yep.
I think we're probably better off just to leave it as it is right now, unless you would have strong feelings about it.
I do. But not right now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We can discuss it at another time.
Yep.
well, I think that maybe we'll get additional information in, and that will give us a nod to where we need to go. in
It's
what
going to be
direction.
very difficult to determine market comps if both of these
Right.
other towns have combined highway and transfer
Yeah.
station duties. There's not going to be a
And I think that's
comp.
what most of the towns that we talked with had.
Yeah.
Had the combined rates.
Mm-hmm,
I mean, the combined duties
Yeah.
for those rates.
yeah.
Was it ever put in a capital, that big budget, a capital budget as merging a certain?
Not
year?
yet, because
Not
we've
yet.
only started,
Okay.
discussing it.
I didn't know if it was like 2 years, 3 years away, or,
No, it's a good, that's a very good question, and we should do some sort of a long-term
Correct.
plan. We also need the Board of Health's buy-in on this as well, since they have primary responsibility under the statute, whether it's policy or otherwise.
About that?
okay.
Compensation stuff. I was just looking to see, Sue, did you look through these? I printed them off this morning, but I didn't get a chance to.
Which one?
The compensation data.
Oh, yes.
And I believe those were pretty much,
Yep.
The two that I had concerns with, lines 41 and 43,
Yeah.
are still below the average
Yeah.
minimum,
yeah,
so.
41.
I'm sorry, 21, 41, and 43.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. 41, we did we had to bring it up, last year quite a bit.
right, we did an incremental last year.
So,
Did we move a grade and step too?
All three of these you did incremental adjustments for
Yeah.
last year, and all three of them are still
Are still below.
behind.
Right,
Yeah.
and June, did you have a chance to cost out these increases at all, or?
The cost for these here that are on. the
Oh,
sheet.
is that the 14
Yep,
for the year?
yep.
Well, I think everything looks according to the way we had,
discussed it.
Yep.
Well, yep.
As long as, as long as we have our steps and grades with it, so we're not coming back to this again.
We're gonna have to.
we're gonna have to, because
Yeah.
we have to redo all that.
Because some of
That's what I mean.
But,
Some of these people, it is incremental. We can't.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, this is just to bring them above.
Closer.
Yeah, it depends on where you want them to actually go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What's the projection of where you want them to go versus, right now we're taking baby steps there, which is fine.
well, I think for right now, if everybody's okay with these rates that we came up with last week, or did you see that we should go higher on some of them? Like, the ones that are still below also got additional increases last year. So I'd like to kind of do it in baby steps and see how we do. But I want to make sure the committee's on board with that.
I agree.
No, I agree.
Okay, all right. So do we want to take a vote to support these changes so that they can go to FinCom for
Yep.
review and,
Yes, I second that motion. You
Okay.
just made.
all right? Any other discussion on the,
No?
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
So the vote is to recommend the increases that we discussed last week
Okay. I will-
to you to bring to the,
I'll bring it to the select board on Monday.
Okay.
And then we'll, if the board supports these, we'll add them to the working budget document under the requested column.
okay, all right.
Is this gonna delay anything for their budgets? No. Okay.
Nope. No, it'll just be, so we have a preliminary draft going. We'll
Okay.
just make the revision and note it as a revision, and Yep.
Okay.
Okay. And the merit data, we'll wait to get that. Anything else from the town administrator that you wanted to bring forward?
The draft custodian, truck driver, laborer job description.
Yep.
Were you satisfied with that? Did you have a chance to go over it? And does it look,
Yes.
okay?
Yep.
All right.
That's the one you handed out last time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. It looked good.
It looks okay?
Yeah.
So what I'll do at your next meeting then is I will bring a draft job ad for your review and approval, and we can get that posted.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Oh, that's good news. And do you want to vote the job description now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So that, the draft that we were given last week, Tom, do you remember? This was the one that, remember, she did
Yes.
the draft.
Yeah.
I read through it, it looked good.
Yeah.
It had a lot of the good essential functions of the job.
Yeah, you went into detail very
Yep.
well,
Yep.
so.
And that was the one that we had come up with. Fred had come up with a much larger, longer one, and we kind of condensed it a little bit to make the essential functions a little more easier to read here.
Correct.
So given that, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the draft that was presented to us for custodian, truck driver, laborer.
I'm gonna second that.
Any other discussion?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, I'll get this to the select board on Monday for their review and approval.
Okay. To see what's going on. Claire hasn't seen them. This chair is rocking.
Don't fall.
Okay.
If I
So,
fall, I don't, you know.
Anything else that you can think of that you'd like to bring to our attention?
No, the only thing that I have is, just very briefly, at your next meeting, I'm going to be bringing some personnel action forms to you regarding a temporary situation. Frankly, I'm dealing with a health situation, and I have proposed a plan to the board to assure stability in administrative oversight of the town on a day-to-day basis and during any absences I have. So I'll bring you those personnel action forms at your next meeting.
All right, great. All right, thank you. Okay. The next item, Bob, you came to visit with us, and so that we can ask you some questions about your cemetery duties. Let me just see. No, I have it here somewhere.
Bob, I've given them a copy of your contract. Do you have, you want a copy?
I have one with
Can I ask a point of order before we do it, so we all look like we're doing things according to open meeting law? Just want to be proper. I understand that Brenna's here, but she cannot contribute to the discussion, is that correct?
No, that's correct, because that could be deliberation, so,
And they didn't
unless
post-
you're posted.
They didn't post a meeting.
Okay, so
I just
Bob's-
want to make sure that.
Yep.
we
Thank
do
you
it-
for pointing that out, I forgot about that.
I know, it's hard, some of these open meeting laws.
It's tough.
You don't understand, honestly, you don't know if you should be contributing or not contributing or helping, so
Yeah.
it's,
No discussion if it's not posted.
right,
Right.
that's right, yeah, I'm learning. Okay, so,
Should I excuse myself and not ask?
No,
no, because we're not deliberating.
Okay.
We're just asking questions.
about the position.
Yeah, about the
I
position.
just don't want to get us in trouble.
Yeah, no, we're just asking
Okay.
questions. So this is for the cemetery superintendency and burial services contract.
You can share.
Sue, did you have any specific questions? Or you-
Oh, I have a ton of questions.
Can we, like, write notes back and forth if I have a question, or can we confer?
Mhm.
No, we're not
No, you
allowed to do
can't,
that.
no.
Oh, but that's over, we did that already. We just wrote notes back and forth beforehand. I thought Barry was gonna be here, he's not.
Right, but you can't because
Will
it's
not.
not a meeting.
Hold on.
Your meeting has to be in public and everything
I'm
you
here to
say
learn.
or write down has to be in public.
I'm here to learn,
Yeah.
so I'm learning.
Yeah.
I have a ton of questions. And the main thing is that I'm the one that, when I hear contradictions or I'm not sure about something, I'd rather we say it in an open meeting and find out what you really think is happening. And I guess our biggest question to start right off with is how many hours do you really think this job takes? And I don't know if you do it by month or if you feel that you can come down with a weekly, but we need to have some idea roughly. And I know it's not, it's scattered.
Sometimes you're very busy.
Yep.
Some weeks you're very busy, and it can be Saturdays, Sundays. I keep this mess talking.
I know. No, I hear you fine.
You get some phone calls, and you have to deal with people, and sometimes it's a person. I had a person this week call because they want to make arrangements for a burial in May. And so I got a phone call, I got a message, I called them back, I paid phone tag, I got them, they were happy. They're not sure when they're gonna do it, but they just wanted to know the information. What do we need? And I knew, of course, I knew where the grave was because I buried this person's father too. And I just told the information she needs and stuff like that. And then you don't have, might have calls for a week.
Okay.
But then other times you're busy as can be, because when I deal with the monument companies, you have to go up and, I go up and lay everything out for them. I take, if you go through, you'll see the orange driveway markers out in the middle of the field, because that's how I mark everything.
Yep.
So everybody can find it, it's easy to find. And I spend the time to mark all the corners for the monuments. And sometimes a year that's very busy, other times it's not. Right now, it's very busy for Memorial Day, and it's very busy at the end of the year, because they want to get them in before the frost gets in the ground. Because once you get it in, you can put the stone in any time, but you can't put the cement in any time.
Right. You just kind of hit on one of the other things that we've heard a lot, I mean, because we've also talked to other towns, so that's why some of my questions are coming, or
Okay.
the phone calls. How many of them are, you have to deal with immediately? How many need an immediate response? And what kind of phone calls would those be?
Well, we had one not too long ago from an undertaker at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, and it was to do a burial for Wednesday, and he wanted to make sure we could do it because he had to have it in for the paper by 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And a lot of times you get calls, a situation like that, or you have to sell a grave. And if a person doesn't have a grave and somebody passes on Friday afternoon, it's very traumatic if you don't know where you're going or what direction you're going.
Right.
So you could end up down there Sunday. I've been down there Sunday selling graves, Saturday afternoon, at nighttime.
So the cell phone is we're trying to get the job description. A cell phone is an essential part of this job.
Yes, and after, George always used his home phone, and it switched to his cell phone, but when he passed, one of the things I brought up, the department needs a cell phone to have its own phone number that'll be good from now or 40 years from now. Because that's what he had, and that way, because there's people, Penny, I think, still gets some calls because of somebody that dealt with George 30 years ago, and that's the only number they have for a contact. So that is very important, I think, for the department to function.
So you are lucky enough to be in both spots. You're in the commission and you're the superintendent. Are there some of the positions or some of the tasks that you think should be more yours, that things should be changed? I mean, if we're going to write a job description, vice versa, should the tasks go to the commission? Should their tasks be that right now are yours? And we want to make sure that we get it right.
Let me think on that, because I don't know if I say the wrong thing, if it gets into an ethics issue either. that's just my own, if I get into a conflict
Oh, between the two, being the
between the
position.
two being in the same position.
You're totally fine speaking as the superintendent,
Okay.
okay? You are totally fine.
Thank you.
They, I want to say this. I always go, talk to all members, if I'm doing something as far as the super, I keep everybody informed,
Mhm.
which I think is what you should be doing, because you're not just trying to work as a commission board or superintendent, but you're trying to work together. And so I think keeping everybody in the loop on everything that's going on is very important.
Okay.
So there's no surprises. Or if somebody's in question, why did this go on or why did that go on? I think that's a huge thing as far as communication between the superintendent and the cemetery commission. I think that's a very important thing to do. Because some of the stuff does fall as far as on money and jobs and stuff, and how much money there is and stuff like that.
But you feel that's pretty clear right now and laid out very well? Or
Yes.
you feel like it needs some tweaking?
Everything can always be tweaked,
Okay.
but sometimes I think it runs pretty smooth, actually, myself.
And we've also heard some comments, I don't know what they're called, the cemetery maps or the plots, the actual maps of the plots in the two cemeteries. Are they accurate right now, or do they still need some work?
They're pretty accurate. This town has some really good records. And I keep up on them, we all keep on them,
Yep.
write them in the book all the time. And there was a map that needs to be updated in the building, that when you had a lot, they used to put a slime through it when they put someone in the ground there.
Right.
And had gotten away from that, but we were gonna go back to doing that. Just, it's a quick reference sometimes if you're down there and somebody comes along and asks you a question. But the records are very well kept up.
Good. Making sure I have them all.
And as far as a plot plan with actual names, small thing, it's not, it's just in the big books that we have. And you just have to know where the lot, you find the lot, and you just know how it's laid out, and you can find the person.
I'm just always that person that, tomorrow you could win the lottery,
Right.
Yeah,
and you could win the lottery and say,
thank you.
say,
Thank you. And do I know you?
and say, see you later, and you
No,
can walk
I'm
out
not
the
that type of
door.
person.
So I always want to make sure that, okay, you win the lottery and leave tomorrow, and Tommy's gonna do your job.
Right.
Can he,
Pisses me off. Right?
can he find the map? Can somebody
Oh,
else
yeah.
come in and that's
Yeah.
my big thing.
Yes, it is, we've gone through over the times, I've been down there, found something in the book, and we fixed the book right then and there.
That's,
Is that book available for people to read? Like, if you went to the National Cemetery, can anybody look at that and say, hey, this lot's available, or anything like that? It's not in the public's, can the public view it?
I have one, but it's not as far as in public, like.
Is there someplace where, if you want to go see Joe Smo that's buried in North, I want to see his plot.
No, there isn't. There's nothing,
There's nothing
no,
like that?
like directory that's under a signpost somewhere.
so you have to go to him or.
You have to find you,
Or Barry.
or Barry. But what if, this is what I'm trying to say. I think we should have something so it's in public view somewhere. Most cemeteries do, or know where without going through. I mean, it's time consuming to do it, but you should be able to go to that cemetery, open up the book and say, hey, my distant relative's been buried here for 30 years.
Yeah.
I want to find him.
Yeah, I know they have one down the cemetery, because I looked at it when I was born.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
I would like to see that.
Well, that's something that has been talked about. Just, like you said, it's very time consuming,
Yeah,
and you have to have it in the right place for people to find.
correct.
And whether.
I know it's new anyway.
And updated all, you know, it's constant
And it's gotta be
updating.
updated all the time.
And some people go look and they can't find anything because there's no marker.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Right.
I've had a kid ask me one day, looking for his grandfather, and I happened to have the book with me that day when I was down mowing, and I says, wait a minute, and he says, I says, well, he's right here, but he says, there was no marker. I says, they didn't put one in. Just like for Gertrude, there's no marker for her.
No, I know that, but.
But
you
I'm
know,
just
we
saying, there's people that just
Their
don't put them
grandmother.
in.
Yeah. Well,
Can I ask a question? Can your book be scanned?
But it wouldn't be updated, you know what I mean? Every time you updated it, you'd have to rescan it.
Well, at least it would be.
it could be updated every 3 months, but as long as it's, I'd like to know where everybody is.
I'd like to know also where the empty places are so I can pick my spot. So you have to meet with
So-
people to do that, right?
Huh?
You have to meet with people to do that, right? To make sure that they
Yeah.
know what one's plots are open. and-
Well, that's because usually they're buying a grave, so that they're looking for an empty plot. And if you leave it wide open, we tend to sell in a certain area at a time, open up, like at north, just
Yeah.
certain rows,
Right,
because that way, all of a sudden, it says, I want to be in the middle of the field,
Yeah,
and now you've got a stone out in the middle of the field, and you're trying to park cars,
oh,
or the fact that you haven't laid the graves out that far, now you've got yourself into a potential nightmare.
right, right.
So you give, there's options,
Yeah.
but limit the area where it is, and that way you fill it up, you don't have
yeah, like you
scattered
said.
all over the place. And most cemeteries only open up certain sections at a time,
Yeah,
and that's all, and that's,
Right.
just, here's what you want, and that's
You
it.
get to pick this plot over
You got
here in the
here,
corner
here,
or
that's
in the
it.
middle.
Yep.
No, I get that part,
We
like
get,
you said.
we do have a couple of options that we use for the people. And some people want to face the road, so they can see their name on the stone, and some want to look at the woods at the sunset. Up to North
Oh,
Cemetery.
yeah, where you put me.
I have answer to the previous question from my own asking questions in the couple previous meetings at the Cemetery Commission. Can I speak to the map and the record? Because I know the answer. Am I allowed to speak?
is this a meeting?
It's, if it's not deliberation, if it's not a back and forth, that would be
Yeah.
okay under
Okay.
OML.
Okay.
So the question that you were asking relates to documentation process that's ongoing. Prior to 1950, or maybe say prior to 1920, the records were, so the old cemetery, we don't necessarily know who's in there or where the graves are because the records weren't kept. We'd like to get there, but we have to do some ground penetrating radar. That's a whole grant process that needs to take place. So that cemetery, all bets, I mean, we know the ones you get marked, but for where some other ones are, all bets are off. But since 1950, the records have been really well taken. They're in there, they're in the books. We would like to get to the point where the map reflects everything that's in the books. We're not there yet.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
that's the whole, what you are asking for is where we want to go, but we're working on it.
No,
Right,
okay.
right.
That's fine.
It's an ongoing
Right.
administrative
Mhm.
resolution of a
I-
whole problem.
I hear about the, when I hear, this project needs to happen, I immediately go to potential funding sources. So I'm
Me
thinking
too.
Community Preservation Act for updating the maps. I believe that would be
Please talk to me in the future about that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
That, I think that would be a
No,
legitimate
that's just-
source of funding for that.
Well, do you know how many like empty
See my
plot?
note.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Do you know how many like empty plots are down at South Center, Pleasant Street? Like, there's a lot here, but no one. Somebody died. No, I don't want my ex-wife next to me. Do you know off the top of your head? I'm just using for an example. I,
Yeah, you have to have paperwork for it, we're very good about that.
yeah, but I meant,
How many empty,
yeah, off the top of your head, like plots like that.
I can't tell you how many empty graves there are down there. And if the perpetual care's been paid on them,
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do about it.
Okay,
Some that haven't been, but I think, from what I hear, there's a law, a way to take them back if they haven't been used in a long time.
yeah.
But
I just hate to.
It's a waste.
Yeah, like you're saying, it's a waste. Is there any way that, do you guys look at stuff like that as a commission?
We have researched, Barry did some research a few years ago and found out in the two front sections how many empty graves that were out that the perpetual care had never been paid on, and stuff hadn't been done in
Yes.
100 years.
Wow.
But then you still, in my opinion, you have to go through the legal process to find out where some last relative was and put some kind of a legal notice in the paper in that area and see if anybody responds and stuff like that. Because I know, I've heard of people doing it with title searches for property. And I know years ago, somebody had it, and they had to actually put last known one relative was in California, and they had to put an ad in the paper out in that district. And it took up to a year to wait so they could file, because the person did not respond, so they could get a clear title on the piece of property.
Okay. Would funding, like you said, would that be part of a process in that? Or is it funding just to do one particular thing?
Well, so the CPA funding is going to be limited to historic preservation in this particular case. So I don't know how, that would be up to the Community Preservation Committee
Okay.
to determine whether or not all of this, title searches and things like that would, or not title searches, but deed, whatever.
Deed searches.
Yeah.
Deed searches, would be eligible for CPA funding.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just want to note that I'm impressed with your level of knowledge. This is really informative.
I guess my last one, just before I forget, is one of the things that now is in your contract, and you're getting paid for special projects. What is being considered special projects? What do you see down the road as special projects?
Well, we have one, we gotta move a grade, I gotta move a vault. And that was, we talked to Margaret about that, and that was approved, that was a
Yeah.
special project.
Yeah, no.
Not a normal burial,
Okay,
it's something that's extra
okay.
project. I guess I would, if we were doing something, I would bring it to the commission.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering-
They decide what they would consider special.
Right. I was just wondering some examples of some special projects.
There's a lot of things I go down and just do. I've always done it that way, and I don't,
I was gonna say it's an automatic type.
I just do it, and I'm not looking for money, or I'll die poor, so whatever. But I just do stuff
Okay.
because I actually enjoy the job. and
Brendan,
I'm
did you have
interested,
something?
So I just do it.
Restoration of graves due to deterioration over time, or erosion, or vandalism could be on so whole, like if we went and fixed like 8 to 20 graves or something that needed, they were sinking, the stones toppled over, there's a chunk missing, that's, we would do that as a special project for a whole bunch of them. Fixing fences,
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
yeah.
Especially if they were period antique that needed, that kind of stuff, something that was, or Florence Hastings Wheeler's fountain restoration is a special project that we might take on.
No, where's that one? At
That's
South?
in
South.
That's at
Cemetery.
South, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
fountain and the weeping mulberry tree,
Oh,
Oh,
God, that's,
yeah.
I remember saying.
yeah. Fountain that was stolen by helicopter.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know about,
yeah.
Your turn. I finished all my
you
questions.
did good.
I'll be quiet now.
I have one more question. Is the North Cemetery all marked out and plotted? I know you can't do much at, like, South, or Pleasant, I mean, south of the old,
No, it hasn't been all processed,
plotted out.
plotted out. We had Dave Ross up there.
Yeah.
Doing some marking and some surveying for us, and we have to get back to him, make more contact with him, and get stuff finalized as
Okay.
far as, just in that front field, because the back we're not gonna touch for
My lifetime?
mine, and everybody
Okay.
here will probably be gone, hopefully. I don't wanna sell it that fast. We're trying to stay in the front, and just
Front.
stay in the front and leave the back where it gets mowed once a year and just leave it alone. And we have one row that faces the woods on the back that we use because we started it because one person, Corky across the street, used to go over and fish in Steen's Pond. He liked the woods and he could see the pond, so being a small town friendly cemetery, we sold him graves down on the end so he could be where he was happy. And that's what we did. And Doug Colwell's on the other side because he said, well, Pat and I do like to look at the sunset, and he gets to see the sunset every night now. So, I mean, that's part of being a small town, friendly, trying to be accommodating, but not get locked on
Right,
apartment.
yep.
I have just one more question. Is that a long process to plot that out? I mean, mark everything?
I don't know, because I'm not an engineer.
But I meant,
He's already located Dave's already located everything up there, and they had done some work years ago.
Okay,
They had laid out stuff when Andy Blom was working for him.
oh, okay.
I think he means too, how long does it take when Tommy has to have his grave marked out and you have to go and mark it for Paul?
Oh, that's what you want to know?
How long does that process take for you personally? It's
Well,
okay.
For him, it's easy, because he's going out in the woods.
Yeah. I feel a love in this room.
They can throw me in the compost pile, I'll be happy. Some people are right next to it. You go up, you find out the lot, the person, and they tell you they want to be in, if they have 3 graves, 21, 22, 23, well, I want to be in 21. I go, okay. And if they have a stone, it's fairly easy. But then I go in my book, and if somebody's over here in grave 13, I locate them. And then I count all the graves in between, so that when I get to put into 21, I still make sure I have all the graves in between it that I'm supposed to have, because it's easy to adjust it. I can adjust it a little bit and still have all the graves in between there, so that you don't end up, when you get the
Right.
last one in and you're this much short, you're in trouble.
So your average time, when somebody calls you and says, I'm going into lot 13, and you have to go to the cemetery and mark out lot 13 for Paul to come and,
Dig it and mark everything. I probably spend about an hour,
that's.
Okay.
because I just, I constantly check everything.
Double check.
No,
Because I don't want to be,
Right.
if it takes 10 extra minutes, it's easier than trying to fix it.
Right. No, I just,
I've seen where somebody's gone in the wrong place and then, 6 months later, we're moving them over one spot.
Yeah,
I've seen that happen.
yeah, Paul does that all the time. Well, they get in fights. I'm not supposed to be next to him. I'm next to her. Okay.
So, one
Okay.
more question on that marking. So, if I went to North Cemetery, and here's where you're doing your new one, you as a commission or superintendent, do you put a stake in the ground like St. Michael's does that? So I can go out and say, hey, here's lot 21, 22, 23. There's a marking in the ground with a rod,
We don't do that yet. We have to find a place where we can
have them made.
have those made available, because it makes everything so much easier.
That's what I'm saying.
That's something we're trying to find out
Okay.
where it is, because I know in Bolton quite a few years ago, they said there was a kid down at the highway barn that was a good welder, and they had a rod and a plate, and he was welding numbers on the top, and then they put them in the ground.
Okay.
And then you can find them with the
Yeah.
metal
Wand.
one.
That's a good.
but are those, doing those things, I know Sudbury Valley Trust and Conservation put them on my property. After a few years, they come up, and you wreck a lot of lawnmowers with those
Yes.
things.
Well, that's, most of them you'll find are cement. The old
Okay.
ones are cement.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm just,
some of, and they usually, the cement ones pretty much stay, they actually sink more than they
Okay.
come up.
No, we don't need to have numerous lawnmower.
No.
I know we've had quite a few balers. I pulled them all up because they were breaking balers.
But it's
No.
something that, no, I
Yeah,
get
no,
what you're
that's-
saying.
No, but if they've already made it better,
Yeah.
that's a good thing to have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is why we're researching it, because we want to make sure that we don't end up with something that ends up costing us because of maintenance later.
Yeah, no, I get
Still
that
looking
part,
at
but
it.
it would be a lot easier too for,
Oh, it'd be great.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, this is all on our list. We're all on the same page.
okay.
Yeah.
In the winter, I go up, now I've gone up the north and I put stakes out where I have empty graves. If
Correct.
you need it, if someone wants to get buried, you get a foot of snow, it's kind of hard to find stuff sometimes.
One more question. Do you
Okay.
have an immediate, if you get a phone call today, does this happen? I don't know how often it happens. You get a phone call today, tomorrow I gotta bury somebody. Has that happened a lot? Does it happen? 24-hour burial notice?
Rapid burial.
Yeah.
Good.
It happens for, I'm gonna probably say it wrong, depends on your religion or
Religion.
your ethnic
There
thing.
are-
But does it happen?
It has happened.
Okay,
There are some religions that have
Yes.
immediate burial.
okay.
Jewish faith.
Yes.
Supposed to be buried, I think,
By
by
sundown.
sundown of the something,
Mhm.
and that I have had that happen, and
Wow.
Scramble.
it's you just understand and you
Yep.
get it done, and that's that.
Okay.
I have,
Is there an extra charge for that?
no,
No? Okay.
I just consider it,
Is it as a burial?
I just consider it something, again, as being a small town, friendly, try to
Yep.
accommodate people, and we all know it's a very trying time,
No.
especially the one I did. was-
So I know that Sue had asked you like an idea. I guess we're just trying to do the right thing here and come up with a job description or what have you and try and figure out how many hours. But even looking at like all the different things you do, it could be on one day doing this, and so it's hard to say. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, some days you're like, okay, nothing's going on, nothing's going on.
Right.
and You can get 3 phone calls.
Yep,
and, you
okay,
know, like I said, certain times of the year are busier than others,
all right.
you know.
There's also a scenario, I can't remember what the whole story was, but we were talking a couple of months ago about, maybe it was somebody from like across the country, 'cause they couldn't come here. And the conversation went on for 6 months or a year back and forth about, I can't remember what the details was, but it was like the first call, and then it was a lot of work because they couldn't come. But they needed to bury somebody that was dying, and they wanted them here. So that, that can be on and on and on.
What else can you tell us, Bob, about your responsibilities and everything that gives us a good idea of all the things that you do? There's tons of responsibilities here when Margaret and you worked on the burial services and cemetery superintendency agreement. There's a lot of responsibilities in there. And if you could just let us know what your thoughts are on, on those responsibilities and what you find to be the most, that you spend the most time on, I guess is what I'm trying to find out.
Spend a lot of time, I spend a lot of time laying stuff out, trying to make sure stuff is right. Like I said, certain times of the year it's busier than others. You get around Memorial Day, you have the flowers that have to be planted, that has to be taken care of and coordinated. You get geraniums, and you get a lot of your veterans markers come. There's a big push for the veterans markers for Memorial Day. And then, of course, anytime you get a lot of burials, you spend a lot of time on the phone. I mean, last winter there was none. There was no burials at all last winter, which was nice. But then I've had 5 in a month.
Right.
And so you spend a lot of time prepping, and actually last December I had 3 in 5 days.
Well,
So. And they
You
were
gotta
all full.
heat and
Yeah, you gotta.
heat it up, leave it, do
We don't
it.
eat nothing, we just,
Yeah,
you know, you
jackhammer.
and take it out, and, but then you gotta coordinate. You gotta tell, well, I got one this day and this day, and you,
I know, I get it.
Yep.
Construction, it
So we
takes
have to-
longer.
So it really have to be one of these positions where if it's an hourly job, they have to keep a time card and just, you know, I did 5 hours today, if, and I'm
Yeah,
coming
but
up with
so-
every scenario.
and sometimes it can be 15 minutes.
Right, exactly.
Right.
But I'm not,
You know, I mean, that's, it can be 15 minutes you spend on the phone with
Yep.
somebody.
so
and
it's just gonna be one of those things.
I had a woman call me the other night from Vermont, and she called, left a message, I called back, left her a message, and then I called her again, and we got to talking, and she was just trying to make arrangements for May.
Okay.
She wanted to do something in May, and she says, this is my father, and I says, okay, I remember burying him, or was her grandfather, so I remember burying him,
Yep.
and so I had spent, 10 or 15 minutes on the phone with her. Of course, my mother knew her grandfather.
Yeah, we hear those stories all the time.
Well, it seems that it takes a lot of flexibility. I
Right.
mean, you know, it's Sundays, it's nights,
It's
it's, you know.
flexibility.
It's not a flex, it's not a Monday through Friday, 7 to 3:30 thing.
No.
Right.
Flexibility, and it seems like it'd have to be some type of a monthly
thank you.
timesheet.
Yeah.
That's how, right, June, that's your,
That's almost, well, that's pretty much what he.
that's pretty much what he's doing. I'm just, if we're gonna make it official and figure this out.
You
make
would
the-
have to, it would have to be,
Flexible
it would have
hours.
to be very flexible. I mean, it's not,
Right,
Right.
okay.
It's not a 20-hour week this week, and then you're working 40 the
Right.
following week, so it's hard to pinpoint, and we get it. Do you, not record if you're on the phone for 20 minutes or something? Keep track of that?
Oh, I do keep track of it.
Good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
No, we just, that's
I have a
part of
sheet
your,
That when I, in the end of the month, did paperwork this day, or talked to so-and-so on the phone about arrangements for burials, or
Yep.
talked to the
Right.
monument company. I write that, it's all,
Which is good, because you're
Yeah.
telling us that it can be done. You can
Yeah.
keep track of hours.
you can keep track of it, that's all.
So that's,
yeah, that's what I do right by the phone, I have a pad of paper, and I
yep, no.
No, that's fine.
Good
write
idea.
it down, brief,
Yeah.
and I can, and then, of course, I can remember and go back and make it more detailed.
Perfect.
If I have to.
Even if you talk to somebody for 5 minutes, I just wanted
I
to
always
make
do.
sure.
I
Yeah,
always do.
Yeah.
Good.
Paper documentation.
Right, but you can't remember
Yeah.
anything these days either, so.
I wasn't gonna put that.
Who can't remember?
He can, you can.
You're like your mother. You're like your mother. You can remember
no,
everything.
not me.
The only thing that I wish, I know you got a lot of knowledge, and Barry does. We gotta bring some of this out, because God forbid if something happens to you or him.
No, if he
If he
wins the
wins the
lottery,
lottery.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't leave you hanging,
I'm into the,
because it would take me 5 or 6 months to get it through the lawyer.
I'm still into
Forget
it.
everybody I knew.
You certainly wouldn't say anything before then.
I
You
would,
wouldn't forget your cousins, would you?
yes.
What? Who? Some yes, some no. And I'll leave it at that. You figure out which ones.
Oh, the camera guy.
No, I'm very much into not saying if you get hit by the bus, because that really bothers me when we
I
say
know.
that. So I always, if you win the lottery.
And I like that
Yeah,
version better.
yeah.
Me too. And I just want to make sure that things are, transparent and someone can come in if they have to.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't leave people
Yeah,
hanging.
no, that's,
I've been in town.
And you've
all
helped
my-
a lot.
in town all my life, and so I wouldn't leave somebody just tough
Nope.
luck and out the door.
you've
Right.
cleared up a lot of things, and I'm very grateful that you could come in.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, do you have any question of us, Bob, while you're right there? Okay. Well, anytime if you
When do you guys meet?
Third Tuesday of the month at 3 o'clock, down there.
3 o'clock. People work.
Yeah, no kidding, so don't I, Tom.
Yeah, I know that, but why don't you make it like 7 o'clock?
We did, and then in the dead of the winter, it got to the point where people didn't want to go because it gets so cold, so we found at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
We're self-employed, we got this, we're okay.
No, I wanted to go listen to your talks sometime.
Well, come on over.
Well, you know,
You can watch it through the
Watch it on
cable.
YouTube. That's how I watch it.
Yeah, but I want to raise my hand and ask a question.
Well, you get laid off for the winter, right?
I was just
Ask a
thinking
special one, we'll
You know,
make
you
a
can
change.
FaceTime us while we're meeting.
I can't do it while I'm driving.
Oh, come on, yes you can.
No, you
You're gonna
can't.
hold your
No.
magnetic
No, we
over.
can't.
No.
Okay, so you're not allowed, oh, right.
No, 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 no.
No,
No,
you
we're not.
can't do that. You can't,
Not
without
in his, especially if he's in a
earphones,
dump
you
truck.
can't talk on the
You gotta
phone.
not-
Right, right,
Yep.
right,
was
right.
walking down the
Okay.
hallway and see what
I was
happened.
thinking about your car.
Let's move on.
Dump
Yep,
truck
I'm
needs
good.
a license, right?
All right.
Yeah.
I'm really good.
Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming. Thank you for asking questions and everything. That's
Really
great.
interesting and, you know, informative on my end too, because I'm rusty on Robert's rules.
Yeah. All right. So the next item, I think we're done.
That sounds like a
Because
plan.
June, don't you have to go to finance?
I'm sitting with you,
You are.
No,
if you need me.
We really don't have anything else unless you guys want to
go
start
over
getting.
one of these.
I do want
So
to,
we're good
Is that
till next
we
mine
need to
or
check
yours? Is it
on,
yours?
You're in my calendar.
some of our, we've not got all the evals, performance
Oh, yes.
evaluations.
Yep.
Margaret said she got one, but we didn't get it, correct?
I didn't look in our box.
I looked in the box the other day, I was here doing food pantry, and I came up and it's not there. So we have,
As long as I get paid.
Who you missing? Whatever.
Oh, that one, yes, I remember.
transfer station,
Yep.
all of that group.
And we haven't got any of the assessors.
Yes, we do,
Oh, we do?
yes.
Okay.
Pretty sure they came in, yes, we have those. We don't have animal control. We don't have
Do we still have an animal control person?
animal inspector. There's two different. Yes.
Okay.
Both animal control and inspector, or both?
Uh-huh.
Ciao, everybody. Thanks
Yeah.
much.
Thank
See
you.
Well, there wasn't an assistant on animal inspector, was there, after Buddy's passing?
No, no, no,
No, there's
He
an
went-
animal inspector, yeah, and
Sue
then we
Roach
have
is the
animal
animal-
control officer,
yeah.
dog officer, slash, used to be a
Okay,
dog
yeah, yeah.
officer.
Okay,
Animal
no.
control.
Okay.
I think those were the only ones that we were still missing. Yeah, they're all there.
That was the job descriptions from the assessors.
I thought we got,
So let me just look here and see if,
just want to make sure we have them all so we can say that we did see them.
yep, I'm sorry, they're here.
Yep.
Yep, they're here.
So I think
They're
those
co-
were the only ones.
Yep,
Animal
So-
control,
Board of Health.
animal inspector, and the people from the transfer station. Margaret did say she has the managers, but she did not say she had the other workers.
right.
And then we'll be complete.
When we go over that, right?
And then we can look at those and
Yeah.
discuss the merits.
I'm almost done, Tom. I'll get these to you so you can read them as well.
That's fine.
So I'm sorry, that
No,
was
no.
my goal this week was to get that done, and I didn't get it done, so,
Been
anyway.
crazy.
But that's all I really,
Tell me about it.
Okay.
We've been working on crazy.
Did you look at your budget? Your budget, your budget,
Our budget?
your budget.
It was in the mailbox.
Oh, it was?
It hasn't got
I-
increased since we started, has it? Cliff?
No. So, no, I forgot, I didn't look at my mailbox.
Do you want me to go get it?
Yeah, that'd be great. I should probably do that.
No, I volunteered at the food pantry, so I came upstairs just to check to see if we had any more valves in our box.
What, is the food pantry busy?
Yes.
You still getting a lot of donations?
I just started helping down there. I mean, I'm lucky.
Is Fran still? No.
Mary McKellick and Valvin do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right, Cliff?
All right. Oh, Monday, December 20th,
What time?
Chief of Police pinning ceremony,
5:30?
5:30.
Jeez, what? These people, don't they know how we work still?
No, my son's home from Georgia, and I haven't seen him in 2 years, and that's his birthday dinner night. We're
Yeah,
taking him out.
I know,
Yeah,
I
he's
know.
To the soul. That takes all precedent.
Thank you, reservation.
Okay.
Yep.
Budget kickoff, okay. So Berlin Town Accountant sent out the information for the instructions, and we must be number 152. That's our,
That's your department number.
That's our code number?
Yep.
Wow, 152.
Now, do we know if the dues that we have to pay, I mean, last year, I think they went up.
I think there was.
we were to what,
something that-
225
yeah.
or 250?
Yeah, I don't-
Those went up, and then, if that happens again, because I know Margaret actually took some out of her
Two-
budget to cover it.
Right.
And I don't know if there's any online things that they're offering that you'd be interested in going to either.
I'd rather give the money to you guys to be able
You
to
mean
have you guys
a day
go.
off to go learn something new?
For that 45-minute class.
Most of them are on Zoom anyways, aren't they?
The past couple of years they have been, yeah.
That's why I'm wondering if our budget should just add an extra $50 in case the dues
That-
go up.
Yeah,
So does this have the people,
That is the
And-
old one.
oh, this is the old and this is now's, right? Okay.
That's the current.
Yeah, good.
That they're using to do their budget.
All right.
So when we join that, each department gets billed separately, not as a town.
For
They join
Oh,
everybody has a
Oh,
separate.
separate.
sorry, June, December 6th.
Yeah, well, you're almost there.
You're supposed to have it in by December 6th. Oh, God, I'm sorry.
We didn't meet that week, so you're covered.
No, we're not. June, it'll be throwing things at us.
As long as she throws a cupcake over there.
So it looks like our budget this past year, the only expense we really had in 152 was that personnel committee expenses for the dues for MMHR.
For some reason, I thought there was something else that was available, but there was no money in the budget for it, but I can't remember what it was now.
Should I put 225 on here for now, or should I go up
I think do like Sue said, put 250.
250
just in case it went up.
just to be in the safe side?
I would say yes, just because I don't know what.
Right. Because last year she had to
Because you
take.
don't have the dues notice in there, do you, in that box?
No, 'cause we didn't get that, remember last year, we didn't get it until after the budget was done.
Is that what it was?
And then it
Yeah,
was-
so Margaret covered it. I
Right.
think she had to cover 25 bucks. or
Yeah,
something.
that's why I'm saying,
Just put the 250 to be safe.
Right.
Watch it go up 275.
then I'll do it. I'll put the money.
Okay. So Department Personnel. Department number 152. So, it was in what?
What did you say last year, 225?
Personnel committee expenses. So on the side of the, should I put it under other expenses or dues?
You can put it under dues.
Dues. Okay, so fiscal year '22, it was 225. I'm gonna increase it to 250.
Can we put in for a lobster bake at the end of the year?
Well, you could ask for it, but I'm not gonna approve it.
Okay.
I mean, you're more than welcome to try.
I know that you'd catch that in a heartbeat.
So do we have to vote on that? That we're gonna increase it by
Yeah.
$50?
Make a motion
We
that
should.
we approve our proposed budget increase to 250.
I will second that.
Any other discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for reminding us.
Make sure you put it in the fig gun for us.
Go on the bottom of the
Okay.
list.
So now I can make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Oh, I love it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Adjourn.